So when you say the two main political formations were complicit in vote buying, are you talking about the ruling party and in the state and the opposition party? Which of the opposition parties, by the way?
Let me state unequivocally, based on reports received from our observers in the Election Observation Hub, both the APGA party and the APC party were involved in buying votes. Their agents who had their tags, at the polling units, we saw them because they had the tags of these parties. They were involved in buying these votes. And that's just unfortunate, for our democracy. And these acts need to stop because they make a mockery of elections. When polling stations and polling units become marketplaces where votes are being traded, it doesn't augur well for the health of our democracy. And I hope that political actors would rethink their approach towards electoral competition, because this does not augur well for our democracy.
Just before we leave the vote buying matter, before the elections, there were debates as to the comment made by the governor in which he was incentivizing their party, if you like, foot soldiers to go get the people to come out and vote with a promise of a reward that will be given after the election. I believe 5 million naira was quoted at the time. And there's a debate over the propriety about that particular comment. I want you to speak to what the Constitution says about vote buying and if that constitutes to a remote form of vote buying.
The fact that we are debating this issue, it's just problematic for me. Now, I understand that perhaps there is a dividing line between programs instituted by incumbents to deliver service to the people. And yes, state governments have a responsibility to deliver service. They have a responsibility to deliver empowerment programs because that's what they've promised the people. When those programs, those developmental programs are now structured and situated in a way that it influences the voting choices that people make, especially when it's few days to elections or during the electioneering period, those could be misinterpreted as voter inducement, especially when the buyer or the state actor is quoted, to clearly say that if you vote for me, this is what you would receive, or I am providing this for you to vote for me. So that is problematic in its respect. And it also speaks to, the undue advantage that incumbent has. And sometimes it's that contestation, and I've mentioned this, and there's really a dilemma often. But you can clearly see that incumbents exploit this gap to their advantage. And sometimes they delay some programs when it is close to the elections because they want to incur or curry the support of voters for elections. And the law is very clear about bribery and conspiracy. This is why, drawing from the experience in Anambra, and now that we are amending our electoral law, we hope that the National Assembly will take a closer look at the Electoral Act and introduce stiffer provisions and sanctions for any attempt by any political actor or any individual, to induce voters, whether using financial or using programmatic or using any particular tool whatsoever, provided it is targeted at influencing the voters. Because what we do is we weaponize poverty, we compromise the independent and voluntary choice that voters ought to make when they are voting at elections. Because when they are surrendering their rights to a certain individual or to a political party, they have to do that voluntarily and based on freedom. When it is not free, it's no longer democracy. It's something else. And that's something that we need to drive home so our political actors understand that when you buy votes, at the end of the day, it questions the legitimacy of that election. You can no longer say it's a product of the free choice of people who have subscribed either to your party manifesto or your programs and plans for them.